Greetings and welcome once again to stl-soccer talk here at stltoday.com and the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. I'm Tom Timmermann, beat writer for St. Louis City for the Post-Dispatch.
I'm Beth O'Malley, digital presentation editor and co-host, soccer fan.
And
now you made me laugh.
Usually it takes me about 2 minutes in to get Beth to laugh, but no, this week we started right off the top.
Really quickly.
Yes, an interesting week for St. Louis City. They had a run of 3 games in 8 days, and they got off to a bad start, but they finished on a very high note.
They did.
Going to San Jose, winning 2-1 in a win that the players and coaches will tell you is really one of their best of the season.
I didn't think they started off the game looking that great. I thought their first touches were a little heavy. They weren't connecting passes. They settled down through the game, though, and ended up 2-1 over San Jose, beating San Jose at home, which they had been undefeated at home. And Burki had several saves in the last minutes of the game to seal the deal for St. Louis City, and just Burki looked great. The team ended up looking better than they had started, at least.
A dramatic return for Samuel Adeniran, who had been loaned out to San Antonio for the previous 2 months. He comes back. He flew in the day before the game, had never practiced with the team since he left. And he is in the starting lineup on Saturday. He scores 2 goals. One header off a corner kick from Rasmus Alm, the other on a penalty kick after A.Z. Jackson, who was making his first start of the season, his first MLS start, getting out there and creating a chance. One of the things that made that game special was because of the play of Adeniran and Jackson and Josh Yarrow, Akil Watts, the guys on the bench who hadn't played much this season, who came in at a time in which the team really needed a win and got him a win.
I'm sure some fans saw the lineup and were a little worried. And as I said, the team started off a little shaky, but it was great to see these players come off the bench, be able to start a game, and succeed.
Yeah, and so, Bradley Carnell said, the challenge now is that, these guys are pushing. I don't think you're going to see massive roster change. I think you're going to go back to seeing what is the normal starting lineup you got used to. But you now know that Adeniran is a force. I mean, he had showed well before he got loaned out, but couldn't score a goal. Comes back, scores 2. And with Klaus being out for another 3 weeks, at least you're going to see more Sam Adeniran. But Burki's big finish there just highlights that he is really, if not one of the best goalie in Major League Soccer, and was selected for the MLS All-Star game.
That's what I was about to say. He and Tim Parker are both going to the MLS All-Star game. 2 players from St. Louis City SC. What did you say it was?
There were 7 teams that had more than one player.
For an expansion team to have this, it's great. It's good to see these players recognized for the play that they have, especially for Parker. He's been in the MLS for several years. 9 years, his first time to the All-Star game, so that's great.
Yeah, and Burki's play has been elemental to this team's success this season. The telling number I come back to with him is he has saved 5.8 goals above expected, which is one of those analytic fancy stats, but it's way more than anybody else in the league, and it speaks to the difference he makes. I mean, that's almost 6 goals that the opposition has not scored, that you would think they would have gotten based on where the chances were from. That's a big deal. I mean, that's wins. When you that many goals, that's a difference between winning and losing when you have that. So, Burki's success has been key to this team, and he was voted in. So he was the All-Star vote is a third fans, a third media, and a third players.
Right. And
so he shows that he was got recognition from across the board on that. So he's played every game so far, played every minute of every game in the MLS season, and the question is going to be, do you ever take him out?
We'll have to find out.
We will. We talk about this more on the podcast on STL Today Soccer Talk, the podcast, which is like this, except you don't have to see us, and it goes on longer. And you can do it with your eyes closed. Not that you can't do this with your eyes closed. But anyway, but that's available at stltoday.com, and plenty of coverage of this team in Post-Dispatch, and both in print and digitally. and it's there along with all sorts of other coverage of all sorts of other things. So support local journalism and find out more about the soccer team. Until next week, I'm Tom Timmerman.
I'm Beth O'Malley.
We'll be seeing you.